Washington's clear thinking headquarters. The Morning Majority, 5 to 9 on 630 WMAL.
536 on WMAL. Brian Eamon, Mary Catherine Hand for the Daily Caller. Andrew Breitbart is in the house this morning. He's written a new book called Righteous Indignation. Excuse me while I save the world. How are you going to save the world?
This morning, I don't think that's a possibility.
So why'd you write this book?
I wrote this book because look, the cover of the book, Matt Drudge saw it and he said it looked like you went 10 rounds, and but you won. And I've had the last 2 years has been a battle. I decided that I wasn't just going to be a spectator, that I was going to start participating in this democracy. I was kind of a non-joiner, but I joined the Tea Party. I defended the Tea Party. I used this new media to act as a Pied Piper to bring new people into the mix. And this is the most exciting time in the history of media. And it's hard to figure that out because the people who exist in the mainstream media, Katie Couric and Brian Williams and Charlie Gibson and their ilk, they're not really excited about this new era in media because many of them are fearful of their own jobs. But the technology exists now to go out there and do investigative journalism. James O'Keefe and Hannah Giles took down Acorn, like it or not, for $1,400, city to city to city to city. If that doesn't send a message to people that if they don't like how the media's done, they can do it themselves. You know, this revolution started with Rush Limbaugh in 1988. It's about 23 years old. And Matt Drudge in 1995 shows that a personal computer and a modem that you can take on the media, that you can take on the New York Times. In recent years, people have realized that they can start doing what the networks are doing. And that's basically what this book is about, is that democracy has been improved greatly by the individual's ability to cover what's going on out there.
The book starts as it's a personal story first. You tell your story, how you grew up, and you grew up in Los Angeles, and then you went to the University of Tulane in New Orleans, and how you got into the Hollywood business for a little bit. You didn't like it.
I was wayward. I was wayward.
I was gonna, because you say you admit that you were a liberal essentially, or at least you thought you were a liberal.
A default liberal.
What happened? When did the evolution come?
That's why I give you the biography at the very beginning. It's not because I'm trying to set up my exploratory committee for presidency at 42 years of age.
Join the party, you know?
Right. No, the reason why I give you the biography about how I was something of a party boy.
Yeah.
I was as wayward as humanly possible. I graduated from college. Wasn't even motivated to work, and my father said it's over. He said we're not paying for your way anymore. And in my mind, I was willing to work, but I only thought that I had to pay for CDs and going to bars and dinner. Shoes? Are you kidding me? That's my parents' business. And when they shut me off, when they shut me down, they shut down the operation down of all entertainment all the time, and my narcissism complex. I got a job waiting. It was humiliating when people that I knew came and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" But it was transformative. When I had to pay my own rent, when I had to actually buy my own shoes, and I started to walk down the path towards individual.
You got kicked off of welfare.
Yeah, I'm telling you, entitlement. I wasn't entitled. Right. Yeah. I felt entitled, and as I started walking in my new shoes that I purchased, I started to get something called a self-esteem, and then this is an absolutely true story. Nirvana and Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam turned me into a conservative. I was already walking in those shoes, but I didn't know that I was walking towards a political conversion. I was listening to FM radio. I was listening to The Cure, Depeche Mode, all these alt-British brands like Goofy
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Echo, that's exactly what I was going to say. They're from Liverpool. And something horrific happened in the early 90s. Those stations were taken over by Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hated that band. And Mud Honey.
Yeah.
That guy passed away due to self-indulgence. And I honestly, I was delivering scripts at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving 24,000 miles a year delivering scripts for a producer. I said, I can't take it anymore, and I switched to this weird thing called AM radio. I said, who are these people?
Now, did you get into Rush Ray, or it was?
I did. It was the
1992
1992 election that involved Ross Perot
Right.
and George Herbert Walker Bush and Bill Clinton, and that I started listening, and I remember thinking, Rush is a bad man, people told me.
Yeah.
They said he was a racist,
yeah.
and he said all these terrible things. And I remember my first epiphany after 6 weeks or so was, this guy seems pretty affable.
Mm-hmm.
I may disagree with him, but I haven't heard. In fact, I felt listening to the show was a search for the racist moment, or a search for the evil comment. So that was almost the compelling thing, like I was fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it never happened. And I remember started to ask questions of people who said Rush was evil. I said, have you ever listened to the show? Because I've started to listen to the show. And they'd say, yes, he's a racist. I said, have you ever listened to the show? Because I keep listening and it's not there. Next thing I know, I turned to this guy by the name of Dennis Prager, and he started to talk about ethics, something that wasn't necessarily part of my arsenal at that point in my life, and morality.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is starting to make a hell of a lot more sense than my 4 years in college, where all I did was drink and then some, and listen to what at the end of the day was cultural Marxist indoctrination, which basically, it's the worst thing in the world, because you go into college and you're almost looking for something to affirm your nihilism. And they give it to you.
There's a point in the book you said where you were driving, you were at a red light or somewhere like that, and you said, and you said you weren't necessarily a religious guy, but you were praying to God that you could find something to do that you could have passion, and that you could have some kind of focus that you would want to do because you were just fed up with.
Yes, and within 6 months, I would say, of that, the internet and Matt Drudge changed my life.
Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later in the 7 o'clock hour, because I do want to get into everything that you did post that. Of course, the Shirley Sherrod stuff, the Acorn stuff.
The fun part.
The heavy stuff. 5:43, Brian Neiman, Andrew Breitbart, who's author of the new book, Righteous Indignation, which you can pick up at bookstores today. Mary Catherine Ham for the Daily Caller, and as well, 5:44,